welcome to another video. Today we're going to be talking a little bit about GitHub, and how to contribute to a GitHub repo. I get this question quite a bit. How do I contribute to your GitHub repo, or how do I suggest code to another GitHub repo that I might be a fan of? So today we're actually going to take a look at this GitHub repo here. It's called Awesome Mac Admin Tools, and as a Mac admin myself, I really enjoy looking at GitHub pages that outline some really cool tools that Mac admins can use. In this page here, you can see that we have command line tools, deployment, helper menus, a lot of different types of systems. If I click on text editing, it should take me right down to that section, and I can see that we have BB Edit, Code Lobster, Macdown, Nova, Sublime Text, Visual Code Studio, Xcode, and that is their list. I want to add another text editor, a pretty popular one called Code Runner, and I'm going to add that to the list. In order to add that to a list, to someone else's GitHub repo, we have to take a few steps. So first, what we need to do is we need to fork the repository. Forking creates a copy of the repository that we can then work with. And once we make our changes in that forked repo, then we can commit those changes, and then we can request that those changes be merged in, which is a GitHub pull request. So we're going to be going through the entire process from beginning to end, and we're going to be able to see how to commit code to a GitHub repo, and how you specifically, as a Mac admin or interested party in this video, can contribute to your favorite GitHub repositories. All right, let's get started. So the first step here is we need to fork the repo. And in order to make sure that you can fork, you need to make sure that you have a GitHub account. You need to make sure that you're signed in. So I'm signed in already. I already have a GitHub account, and I went to this repo that I want to modify or want to contribute to, and I click on fork. Now, when I fork this, it's going to create a copy of this in my repo. So it's going to put this inside of my account, and I'm going to keep the name Awesome Mac Admin Tools, and I'm going to create this fork, and I'm only going to copy this main branch here. Creating fork. And now what this is going to do is it's going to allow me to, it's going to create a safe place within the repo that's mine, that I can now modify. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to clone this repo. So to clone the repo, I'm going to copy the URL of the repo, and I'm going to open up terminal here, and I'm going to type git clone, and then I'm going to paste in the URL. Now, first, before I press enter, I'm going to make sure that I do this inside of a directory. I'm going to do this in the desktop directory, git clone. And now what's happening here is a copy of this repository is now on the desktop. So I can see the Awesome Mac Admin Tools directory, and if I go into that directory, I can see all of the items in that directory. So what we want to do is we want to contribute or modify this readme.md file. And there are multiple ways that we can do this. First, we can open this file in a text editor. We can use the terminal to modify the file, and we can actually modify this file using GitHub itself. So let's go through each of those options. Okay, so the first step, I'm going to go ahead and just open up this directory. Here it is. And the README file is the file that has all the text in it. So I'm going to go ahead and open this up in a text editor. And here we go with the contents of our file. So we can see here that we are looking at the contents of this file in markdown format. So that's the format that they are using to generate the code or generate the imagery that is displayed when you look at the page here. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to go back to the code, and I'm going to find the Xcode entry because that is where I want to modify. I want to essentially copy Xcode, and I'm going to make a copy of that and paste it here, and I'm going to call it Code Runner. And I'm going to actually put Code Runner 4. And I'm going to go to the Code Runner website, and it's a lightweight multi-language programming text editor in IDE for macOS. So we're going to just copy that. And I'm going to go back to the text editor here, and we're going to paste that into the description of the application. So cost is, let's take a look, $19.99. So let's type that in, $19.99. I'll put included with SetApp. SetApp is a popular bundled subscription service. So if you have SetApp, you can get this for free. All right, now I'm going to go back to the text editor, and we're going to put a link. So I want the link to the download. I'm going to copy the link here, and we're going to go and paste that right into this area here. And it looks like we need to paste it in two places, here and here. And then finally, we have a picture. And this picture is going to be linked specifically to the download. So I want to put the picture file in the images folder. So the first step that we need to do is we need to save this picture. So I'm going to just right click on the picture. I like this picture here. I'm going to right click on the picture. I'm going to save image as, and I'm just going to save it and put it in the desktop and put it into the images folder. And I'm going to call it Code Runner 4.png. All right. So now if I go back to my, my text editor, I can call this here Code Runner 4.png. It's already in the images folder, and I can link this to the download. Boom. All right, so now I have saved this file, and I can close this file. So now if I go back to my CLI here, my command line interface, I can do a git status, and I can see that I have newer files now on my computer. So I'm going to git add. I'm going to add all files. Now to do that, you just do git add and then a period. And then git commit is the name, or is the command for finalizing your changes. I'm going to add a message. So -m is adding a message to the command. I'm going to call this added code runner. And I'm going to now do a git push origin main. Now main is the branch of the repository, and the source is the origin, or the primary branch is origin. So I'm going to go ahead and press enter. All right. It says fail to push some refs to github.com. All right. So what we want to do is we want to check our source URL. So let's go back to our repo. And here is our repo here. I'm going to copy this URL and just take a look at the branch name. Let's take a look at the branch name. The branch name is master. For modern repos, it's actually main. But now instead of main, let's change this to master. And now it should go ahead and modify that for me. Okay, so now my updated code, if I reload this, now we should see again, this is my copy. See my little picture here. In my copy, if I go to text editing, we can see here that I now have a copy of CodeRunner. Oh, but look, the image didn't actually upload. So let's take a look at that. So if I go into the images folder, and okay, so the image is actually a JPEG file, not a PNG. So let's change that. I'm going to go ahead and let's modify the name of the image. And I'm going to change it so that it's a JPEG. And now I'm going to do the same thing. Git add period git commit fixed code runner image git push origin master. All right, so now if we reload, we'll see that the image is set properly. I only fixed the image, and I did that on purpose because I wanted to show you another method of updating the text here directly in GitHub. So if I press on the pencil icon, I get put into a built-in web editor. It looks very similar to the editor that we were in when we were editing this in our text edit app. So what we're going to do is we're going to look for our CodeRunner app, and in the images we're going to change this to coderunner4.jpg. Let's confirm that that's right. Images coderunner4. I'm just going to copy that. Coderunner4.jpg. Yes. Very good. And I'm going to commit changes. I'm going to call this update CodeRunner image is the commit message, and I'm going to commit directly to the master branch. So it's essentially what I just did here is the exact same thing that I had done here in Terminal, only I was able to do it right from within the web editor. So let's use the menu to jump down instead of scrolling infinitely, and then we're going to see if our image has loaded. And as we can see, CodeRunner 4 is now added to the list. Okay, so I'm happy with my commit, and I'm happy with my contribution to this GitHub repo. So now what I want to do is I want to do a pull request. So to do a pull request, what I'm going to do is we're going to click on the contribute button, and right in this banner we're going to see, hey, this branch is 3 commits ahead of this repository. Do we want to contribute? And when you click on contribute, it says open pull request. And that's what we want to do here. We're going to go ahead and click on open pull request. And by doing that, what we're going to do here is we're going to add a title, and we're going to say added code runner 4. And in the description, I will put added in code runner 4, the primary text editor tool for Jamf classrooms. Now, when you take the Jamf training, if you're a Mac admin, the 200, 300, and 400 classes, they use the Code Runner app, which is why I'm adding it to the list, because it's an app that Jamf recommends, and it seems to be widely adopted from within the Mac community, but it allows you to create scripts very easily. So I'm going to go ahead and click on create pull request, and it's checking to see if there were any conflicts with the changes that I made, and there are no conflicts. And now we are waiting for the owner of the repository to review this request and then merge these changes into the repository. And that essentially is how you contribute, fork, modify, commit, and then contribute or pull request your changes into the source repository. I really hope you enjoyed this video. Like and subscribe. If you have any questions or comments, feel free to add them right down in the video or on my blog or on LinkedIn. You can follow me over there.